What's up, friends? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Paul, and I pretty much cover things that I am curious about or things that I have already learned about on this channel. And so today what I want to talk to you guys about is how to deal with that overwhelming feeling. So at various points in life, we're going to have that feeling that we're just very, very overwhelmed, that we don't have enough time in the day to do the things that we know that we seemingly need to get done. And I wanted to share with you guys my process of how to deal with that overwhelming feeling and give you the different scenarios that may happen with that overwhelming feeling. So the process that I go through is one, while my brain's racing about everything, because here's what happens: you're trying to do a task, then all the other important things or seemingly important things come up in your head, then you can't focus on the task that you're doing, and then you just get really frustrated and then even more overwhelmed because now you're not progressing on any of them, and now 30 minutes has gone by, and now an hour goes by, etc. It just becomes a snowball. So one of the things that I do is I actually stop anything of what I am currently doing. Because if there are many, many things on my mind, the only way to get them out of your mind is to either work on them or write them down, knowing that you will get to them, but just in their proper order. So the first thing that I do is write all of them out. What I do after I write all of them out and I've stopped the task that I'm currently doing, I will list the priority on each one. So some things may just be wants or desires, but they are not needs. Other times we have actual responsibilities that we need to get done, that have actual consequences if we don't do those things. That would be what's called, obviously, a high priority task. And so once I have the 3 to 10 things or however many things listed, I prioritize them in terms of how important they are. Then, like, let's say we have something that has equal importance, that, like, hey, both are going to have a consequence if we can't get them done. And let's do a scenario here where we have consequences for the one that we aren't getting done and whatnot. The main thing that I do on that is I have to go, okay, one, what's the secondary and tertiary consequences, not just the primary consequence of this first thing that happens? Because sometimes the primary consequence can be worse on a particular event if we don't do it, but the secondary and tertiary consequences aren't as bad, and we actually may be able to make up for it in the long run, but in the short run, it just hurts a little bit more. So then sometimes I'll do the one with the lighter primary consequence, because sometimes it can snowball greater than the other one, even though the other one has a higher short-term consequence. I hope that makes sense in what I'm saying. So I don't just look at within the consequence realm of not getting a thing done. I don't just look at the immediate consequence. I look at what's the long-term consequence as well. So that would be a scenario on what to do if both of the things have real consequences. So the first one was exactly what I talked about with the, hey, stop what you're doing, list them out, and then just knock them out in order of priority. The second scenario was, hey, you have two that are equal priority. Then you got to look at consequences, but look at long-term consequences. And here's a third one. And this is actually a different approach. Well, it's really counterintuitive, especially compared to the first two that I just talked about. But here's the thing. Sometimes one of the best things to do when you're overwhelmed is to satisfy the urge of one of those, what I listed in that first scenario, of desires that you have. So it's really not important to do, but it's just a desire that you have. Sometimes you do just need the hit of dopamine just to feel good before you start going into responsibility. Because if your whole day is responsibility, that can make you, sure, you may be working all day, but you won't be as efficient. Whereas sometimes if you actually do the desire first and not the need, it can actually give you that hit of dopamine that you can just kind of feel good, and then you can actually move into your other needs, responsibilities with a lot more efficiency. And sometimes I found that actually helps me really, really well. So an example of this would be you're working, you're grinding, and you got a lot of things that you need to do. You listed all the things out, and one of the things that you just want to do is relax. And you're like, oh no, but I can't relax. I got way too many things to do. Sometimes, if you're a nap person, sometimes the actual most beneficial thing that you could do, take a 15-minute nap. And a lot of people don't allow themselves to do that. but it's crazy to think like what that can do for you. Or maybe it would be going for like a walk for 10 or 15 minutes, whatever that desire is for you, that goes away from the needs and whatnot. Sometimes it's actually more beneficial to do those things first, get the blood flowing, get the brain in the right place, get some rest, whatever it may be, but to put you right back on task and to move forward with efficiency. So those are three different scenarios of what I do, how I process things if I'm feeling overwhelmed. Let me know what you guys do. If you guys have a different scenario or a different way of processing, when you're overwhelmed and how you work through that, or if you don't, or if you really struggle with it, whatever the case may be, let me know down in the comments below. I am curious to know what you guys do. And with that being said, I will see you guys on the next one.